Hello and welcome to another Talking To episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by
Aiden.
And today we can talk about the TMNT 2012 Season 2 Episode 5, Mikey Gets Shellacne. So yeah, this episode was really interesting for quite a few different reasons. What do you think about this episode briefly?
This episode briefly, all I can say is that it's just every teenager's life. You know, every teenager goes through it, and it's just one of those episodes you're thinking, yeesh, like acne, nah, not good.
I mean, I think for me, this episode is a really hard one for me to really get into and enjoy, just because it is a really Mikey Mikey focused episode with a big mistake that he does, which is just, it's just this version of Mikey. So this episode was always going to be a very episode which I didn't really enjoy all too much, but there are some things in this episode that really make me want to like this episode a lot more. Okay, so we do first start off with Turtles making breakfast. What do you think about that scene?
Well, I now know the turtles can't actually cook for themselves, nor make breakfast for that matter, so I could see why they always get takeaway, because they cannot cook to save their lives.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Mikey can cook, but I think all the rest, like they probably can cook stuff, but not normal stuff, or at the very least easy stuff. But with that scene, I did find it really enjoyable with like them all doing it wrong, and we need to talk about Raph having the egg nipples. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I thought we was gonna go past that, but we're talking about it now. I don't.
Highlight for the episode.
Yeah. Oh jeez. I don't know what to say to that with Raph and the eggs. I saw it. I'm thinking, that was like a smooth little joke they put in there, you know. But yeah, it wasn't. I didn't think of much. Yeah, I didn't think of it much.
I did find it hilarious, but at the same time, I'm sort of wondering how that did get past censors, just because we all know how people are like. So, if I feel like if that was made in today's world, it would have got censored just for it being what it is. But I must admit, overall, I thought it was just great. So yeah, after that we do get to see Mikey. He wakes up and he does have the shellacne, and he realises that. And we do get to see Raphael calls him a few names, which I'd say are really good names. What do you think about that scene?
I really did enjoy that. That was quite funny, because it seems that everyone gets the nicknames, and of course, if something happens, everyone gets nicknames, and of course, like all the zit names and all the acne names and all that, all the spot names. It's really quite funny, because I know many people that have just like everyone knows what it's like to go through that sort of thing and get called names, and it's just really funny to see. It's like, oh my god, he's getting all this, but then you realise it's like, oh, other people have gone through this. Not only that, probably ourselves, but for everyone else. It's just like a worst nightmare situation for every teenager in the world. It's just terrible, but really funny though.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that a lot of people could potentially relate to this episode. But at the same time, I think that Raph's nicknames in this episode were just top-notch great. They were amazing. So then after that, we do get to see Dog Pound and Fishface. They come into the scene with Cry, and Cry tells them to go off and get Buck Stockman. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, it was quite nice to see Dog Pound and Fishface again. It was pretty weird to see Karai on Krang's throne with the advanced or the robotic foot ninja. I still don't know what we're going to call them. Like, are they Krang ninjas? Oh, footbots, right. But yeah, it was nice to see Dog Pound and Fishface again, because we haven't seen them for quite a while, and to be honest, I thought they went back to Japan with Shredder, or I had no clue what they were up to until now, so it was quite nice to see them again.
Yeah, it was quite good to see them in this episode, and if anything, I honestly did forget that Fishface and Karai was actually in this episode, so that was pretty good overall to see them again. And yeah, I don't have anything really to say about that scene, but it's just nice seeing them there. So then after that, we do get to see Mikey comes out and he reveals his mistake, which was him dabbing Miss Jun onto himself and then getting shellacne. So with that, I've got to say this, and this is probably the biggest thing, one of the biggest problems I have this episode. One is Mikey and his stupid mistake. Yeah, I don't want to get into that because I know that I'll rant about it. But if he dabbled Muzjin onto himself, wouldn't he double mutate?
I'm not too sure. Well, yeah,
yes,
why? Why didn't he double mutate like Dog Pound did? I don't understand the workings behind that. Unless he's got like some other power or mutated version of himself that he hasn't fully achieved his like full potential power. I really don't know, because if we talk about this now, Teddy, I'm going to be here all night long and I'm going to go insane. All right.
Yeah, I mean, another mission, like, it doesn't really like matter like how much you get splashed on you. You're still gonna like mutate into something else. And even with like, the little dabble bits on him, he should have just, oh god. So yeah, then after that, they do talk about getting the cure, and they get the centrifuge, and they're talking about that Don doesn't have it, so they go to Tisara to get one. And here's another problem that comes up: that in episode 24 last season, the one with all the wasps, they had a centrifuge then and actually made a cure then. Where did that machine go? Hopefully I'm not making too many problems now with this episode for you.
Oh no. Sorry, I don't know. How? Yeah, you're right. How did they lose the centrifuge? Like, how? They had one last episode, well, previous episodes with like the wasp infestation, and they made a cure from that, and now they don't have one. And where is it gone? Like, where is it? Did they destroy it or did they sell it? I don't really understand why they would throw something like that away, because you know you're going to need it in a time like this. Like, to be honest, I don't know. I'm going to be here all night. Teddy, move on, please, because this is driving me insane.
Oh, hang on, just one little thing. Wouldn't it have been easier for them to make a centrifuge instead of going out and hoping to find one? Hopefully that's not like another big mistake which they could have like solved very quickly.
To be honest, now that you say it out loud, I'm surprised Donnie didn't build one already. Like, I'm surprised he just didn't, because he's built so many others. And of course, if you guys have been long-time listeners, you know Donnie can invent literally anything. He's made turtle head, the robot that almost killed them, the shell raiser. He's built like a self-contained nuclear reactor from like this alien Krang reactor thing. I don't know what the name is, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but it's true. But literally, how I'm surprised he hasn't built one. Like, this is Donnie we're talking about. Surely he has one just lying around on standby. Yeah, just move on. I'm losing it here.
Okay, so the next bit we do get to see the turtles in Tisara, and that's when Dog Pound comes in and Backstopman's there, and they do have a fight. One thing which I still want to point out first before we actually talk about the fight: Dog Pound is chest pumping. What do you think about that bit?
Yeah, I saw it, and I don't know what to say, really. I saw it, I'm thinking, why did they add that in there? Is it just to show that he's strong and buff, or was it for some other means which I have no clue and probably don't want to say, really?
I mean, I just thought that scene was just amazing. I feel like that was a clear highlight for Dog Pound's career, and yeah, I just love that scene.
Of course you would.
Well, yeah, it's Dog Pound doing the chest pump thing. Why not? What do you think about the fight scene between the Turtles and Dog Pound?
Yeah, the one Dog Pound, seeing Dog Pound fight the Turtles again, it was pretty cool to see him back in, but it wasn't impressive as when he was Razor, thank you. Yeah, it's not as impressive as the Raza fighting scene.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that with this scene, it wasn't bad. I just felt that it was just very short, and I think that had this episode been longer or two-parter, then maybe they could have expanded upon this fight, but also at the same time, I don't really know what else they could have maybe added into this fight scene to make it more better or anything like that, because I felt also that it was short enough to be good enough, but at the same time, maybe a little bit longer for it to be better, but I don't really know what else they could have done, really. So then they do go back, or, Matildas do go back home, and things are getting worse for Mikey, and was wondering what to do next, and Mikey says basically Dog Pound would take him back someone to his lab, but everyone disagrees, so Mikey runs off. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I don't really have too much to say for that scene. It was very quick, and to be honest, I don't know why they didn't listen to Mikey. I guess Mikey lost all like respect and like everything when he told the turtles that he rubbed mutagen on his face, and that's when I think everyone just lost faith in him. It's like, why would you rub mutagen on your face? And just a quick one here, I don't mean to rant on, but surely he would know what would happen if he did that, rub mutagen on his face. After the last 2 or 3 episodes they've been collecting this mutagen, they know what it does. We've had alien squirrels that, you know, like in their stomachs, and I don't want to talk about that again because it's just literally all I have to say is the word aliens and everyone knows about it.
Enough said.
Enough said. But literally, like, surely he would know. Like, how stupid does he have to be?
Yeah, I mean, this version of Mikey, at times he can be good, I will say that. But most of the time, with him being the false humour character where, like, they deliberately force humour onto him, they just make him so stupid, and with this kind of episode, it really just highlights all of the bad qualities about all the characters, just because like, Mikey's like he does a very stupid mistake, and then even the Turtles, even in this scene, like, the whole point of this episode was the fact that the Turtles don't listen to Mikey or respect him, and yet in this scene, they don't respect Mikey or even listen to his options and go off and talk about other places that Dog Pound will take him Baxter. I mean, that was actually the whole point of the episode, so it just highlights all, like, probably all the worst qualities about the Turtles, and oh god, yeah. I mean, even with saying that, like, why wouldn't Dog Pound take Baxter to his lab? Like, that seems like the most obvious choice, except from, like, maybe the headquarters. But, yeah. Oh, God. The more I think about this one...
episodes.
Yeah.
It's this episode, you know? It's one of those episodes where we just have to, like, sit back and think about the logistics. Like, why would they do that? Or just... It's one of those ones.
This is really feeling like another one of those like pulverizer type episodes.
Oh,
where, like,
don't go there.
Yeah, like even though like there's little problems in episodes and we pretty much near enough hate it, there is enough good stuff in there for us to be like, oh, that's good. And there's also like enough important stuff in there that we have to rewatch it if we were to like rewatch the whole series. Which, oh god, it's gonna be painful if you do rewatch it. But I got a feeling about this one. I might be skipping over for future rewatches. Okay, yeah, so then after that we do get to see Mikey, he actually is in Baxter's Dogman's lab, and Dog Pound notices him, and they do go off and start having a fight, and Mikey goes up against the wall multiple times, and he pops his zits and all that. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I really don't have much to say. I'm surprised Mikey didn't explode because the amount of times that he got thrown against the wall, bashed around, I'm surprised it just didn't pop and explode right there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised by that. He got so lucky. I mean, knowing my luck, if I did something like that, I'll probably like burst as soon as I hit the wall. Just be my luck. But then we do go into probably one of the best scenes, and this is like one. This is what I was talking about last time when I was saying that this is like the moment where it could either improve the series or it could maybe worsen the series, and that is Dog Pound's mutation into Raza. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, at first I really did have doubts. It's like Dog Pound is gonna get like, I don't know what was gonna happen to Dog Pound really. Like, he jumped in the mutagen, and we didn't really know what was going to happen, and especially for me, I was a bit shocked when he came out, and to be honest, I was really, really impressed on what Dog Pound turned out to be. Like, he became this, like, werewolf, like, terror. I don't know what it is. It's like a werewolf mixed with a ghoul, or it was really cool to see, and I really did like his design as a character, and he's just menacing, and it looks like something from I can't specifically remember the movie, but it's basically an awesome version of Dog Pound, and I'm not gonna lie, I like this. Like this version of Dog Pound, which is now going to be called Razor, and it's a bit weird because we're slowly seeing the decline of Chris Bradford, like his original character, and we're seeing he's slowly declining into madness of this power, his mutations, and we're just seeing him slowly succumb to his new characters, and it's pretty cool to see. And just going back and watching the clips, just seeing him, like his bones are sticking out, his horns, he's got the blood red eyes, and he looks very angry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Raza is just an amazing design overall. And with little like history and context with Raza, he was a fan favorite character from the second original Tell movie, because in that movie they wanted to make it more like the original cartoon and wanted to have henchmen, but didn't want to include the henchmen which were in the cartoon, so they made up two new characters, Toka and Raza. Toka was a snapping turtle and Raza was a wolf. And in that movie they were like very stupid and were like very like mutant, like very big, like taller than turtles, and just go around calling the Shredder Mama. So I like how in this version they
Mama?
yeah, they call her Mama. That's
I don't even want to go there.
we'll get to it one day. But yeah, I like how they took like a already existing character and then remade him and reinvented the history and lore of the Turtles, and just like something really cool and interesting and very unique with this character, and I think that it works really well. I will say this, like, even though this is like really cool to see like a already existing character turn into a character which most people do like already, I do feel as though that like maybe there was potential here to actually turn other characters from this series into already like fan favorite characters from other series. I feel as though like that can be like really cool and could have been like really great to see like more double mutations and stuff like that. But overall, I'd say that like this scene was just so amazing, and just Raza in general was just amazing. It's a shame they won't get any more Dog Pound chest pumps, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So then going into the next scene, we do get to see the Turtles fighting Raza, Fishface, and Footbots. What do you think about that scene?
I thought that was really cool because, especially Raza, like Raza just took that entire scene, like he's showing off his powers, his new strength, his new abilities, and I just gotta say, this is like Raza. All I'm gonna be talking about is Raza right now, not about like the Turtles or Baxter's. Like, because I've been talking about Raza so much, I've completely forgotten about Baxter Stockman. He's no longer relevant in this episode nor this podcast because Raza's just taken the spotlight here. So, but yeah, Raza is just super cool. I really like him. Sure, we only had like a brief introduction of him and his character, but I'm hoping we get to see a lot more of him in future episodes to come. So that's going to be cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this fight scene was really fun to see Turtles in some of an like similar situation with other like fight scenes and stuff like that. But with the inclusion of Raza, it did make this fight scene feel very unique and very cool. And again, how did Mikey not burst? That's my biggest thing about that.
Yep.
But then, like going into with how they actually defeated all of them, it's something which I must admit I'm questioning now. Because they electrocuted themselves, but how somehow they didn't all die, and Baxter Stockman's little device around his neck didn't go off. So, yeah, I hope you don't get mad about that either.
Yeah, to be honest, if this was like real life and that amount of like electricity was coming out of that socket, I think you would pretty much be dead, you know? Like there's water on the floor, there's electricity going all over the place, it's going through you, your entire insides will be fried to Kingdom Come, and I don't even know. Hell, even if you do survive, that you are gonna be like really messed up. So, like, I'm surprised Baxter Stockman's the first one up. To be honest, like, I'm surprised his brain's not been fried or anything. I'm surprised he's not been turned into a mutant, like from like the collar short circuiting and exploding all the mutagen all over him. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't turned yet. Like, it's a bit crazy, you know.
Okay, without that's an interesting question further from there. Do you think Baxter will mutate, and also if he does mutate or anything like that, what animal do you think he'll turn into?
Ooh, to be honest, I'm not too sure. Baxter Stockman he's a smart guy, but he's pretty weak as a character. And to be honest, if I had to guess what mutant he would mutate into, I guess he would turn into a cockroach.
Ooh.
And the reason why, yes, there is a reason, and the reason why I say that is because he's always planning. He's always going to double cross. He's going to backstab. He's always going to try and get what he wants. And every time he fails, he always manages to get away, just like a cockroach. Like, cockroaches, they don't die. They just move on and rebuild themselves. And cockroaches, they can survive basically anything. Cockroaches can survive like a nuclear blast, a nuclear bomb, and they always somehow crawl their way back out of some disastrous situation and just go at it again. So that's what I think, and the reason why that Baxter Stockman will become a cockroach. This is all completely guesswork, by the way, for those who are watching and listening in today, because I haven't seen any other future episodes. I don't know whether he is going to turn into a mutant or whether he's going to stay Baxter forever, but that's what my prediction is, and that's what my reasoning behind him turning into a cockroach.
Your reasonings for it sounds more like you're describing the 2003 Baxter Stockman.
Actually, yeah, that does kind of sound like 2003.
Moving on?
Yeah, probably. Let's move on.
Okay, so then for the final scene, we do get to see Donnie comes up with a cure for it, and Mikey is able to get all the acne off of him. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I didn't really have too much to say. It was pretty funny to him just putting it on like these acne pads, and him and Mikey just trying to get everything and make himself clean. But apart from that, I don't really have too much to say for that. It was just a bit weird how they would just carry on the joke of playing and toying with Mikey, even though he's like almost died on like several accounts during this episode where he didn't explode into a giant zit or spot, and I'm surprised he didn't just get destroyed. So yeah, I don't really have too much to say for that.
Okay, well, I'm going to say something and you're going to get mad again.
Oh god.
Donatello basically created a cure for mischief. Why didn't he use it on the pulverizer?
What?
Yeah, he basically made a cure for the mischief. Mikey had the mischief on him and somewhat double mutated in a way, and he created a cure for it. Why didn't he use that on pulverizer?
Oh god, no. Oh, what? Okay, now this is making me very mad. Like, this is just like, why? Like, if he's found a cure, surely he can unmutate everything. You know what, never mind. I'm just gonna sit here and just ponder the question. I'm not even gonna get into it, because if I do, I'm gonna make myself really mad and just think about it all the time. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit there in silence. I'm not going to rant on about it, because I just don't understand why. Why didn't he cure the things that turned into mutants? Like, surely that's like
Splinter and give him back his human life.
Exactly. And he could cure April's father as well. Yeah. That's another thing. April could have her father back, and of course, Dog Pound and Fishface could literally. This is the most valuable resource in the TMT universe right now. Like, he has the power to create life. This is like Dr. Frankenstein when he creates like his monster. Like, he's created life. Like, he can give people life back, and it's Like oh god, I'm ranting already. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that overall, I think that this episode is very bad. I just think that the more you look into this episode, the more and more plot holes and stuff you really get angry with. One, the cure, Mikey's mistake, and there's probably a few other things in there that we'll probably just forget. But like, there's so much in here that it just makes me want to scream and just I somewhat hate this episode, but Raza and Dog Pound's chest pump just makes up for it. What do you think about this episode overall?
Overall, now that we've talked about it, has made me quite mad and just very confused, and has left me with more questions than answers. But yeah, overall, I think this episode is really good because of one thing, Raza. Raza has just made this episode. Apart from that, this episode is a bit
bad.
Yeah, it's a bit bad. It's like along the lines of Pulverizer bad, but not like bad as the Pulverizer, if you get what I'm coming from.
It's bad, but it's not annoying bad. It's like watchable bad. I think that's like the difference between like Pulverizer, where it's just a Pulverizer, and this one where you can actually watch it and still enjoy it for the most part. But if you do actually look into this episode in particular with all the plots, that's when you get more angry. But with actual Pulverizer as a character, that's when you get angry. Even the mere mention of his name, you're like, oh, here we go again.
Yep.
But yeah, but you know what? Let's just move on to comments.
Yeah, let's just do the comments now. This is going to be like
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, do you want to start off with the YouTube comments?
Will do. Let me fire up the old YouTube.
What I do now, I'll get the Facebook ones. We've got some, I think they're Russian people. One of them put, I remember about this moment. I don't know what they're saying about. Another Russian person put, I love how this episode tackles the issue of accepting oneself. Both Mikey and Bradford, in this case, don't feel well with themselves and think that they have a need to change. But when Mikey learned to accept himself, Bradford's refusal to do so transformed him once again. Yeah, that may be true, but there's still a lot of problems in this episode. And now, here's the thing: with all the comments, they're even going to say that they really like this stuff and like Raza, but I think people are looking over a majority of the things that we definitely found in this episode.
Yes.
So do you have YouTube comments up?
Yep, I have them all ready to go.
Okay, let's go.
So who's going to go first, me or you?
You can go.
Alright, sure thing. Just a disclaimer, again, I say this every week, but I do apologise in advance if I do get your names wrong, and if I do butcher them, that's on me, so I do apologise, but let's get into it, shall we?
Yep.
On YouTube comments today, we have at Kuma Likes Turtles, and it says, I personally like this episode because it shows some of Mikey's feelings that we don't always get to see. He looks up to his brothers and wants to be just like them, despite the fact they can be very mean to him. All he wants is to prove his worth, to prove that he can also be a good ninja. Yeah, I do see that a bit, but not as much as in this episode, because, to be honest, in my fair opinion, he is a bit of a stupid turtle in this episode. Like, he's very stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that this version of Mikey, when you do compare him to other versions, he is just there. Like, he's just so annoying. I mean, I know that with the like Rise of TMNT, they do expand, or they do make all the other characters childish and all that a lot more like all the characters like this version of Mikey. But the thing is, that version of Turtles was supposed to be like that kind of show, so it worked. But with Mikey, he just doesn't really fit this like tone of Turtles or anything like that. And oh god, just Mikey in general, he just annoys me a lot.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's catered. Well, I'm guessing this show is catered to a much younger audience at the time, so I guess they made it very childish to get into the minds of like the people and make it more, you know, enjoyable for them to watch and understand, perhaps.
Well, I'm not too sure, just because this version of Turtles is one which I don't think they really know. I feel as though for this version of Turtles, they were just trying to do everything and try to please everyone, but ultimately failed. Just because, even though this one was aimed towards kids, and that it did work, but also you did have the adults like sharing it with their kids and all that. And this is why you have a lot of references to the 87 show, the movies and stuff like that, to also please them and all that. So I just think that like overall this whole show just didn't really know what they wanted to really do. I think they wanted to do everything to please everyone, but ultimately because it didn't do like actually like go into one direction, it's all like made like there's loads of things that suffer from it. I mean, Mikey is a really good example. They're like even like story elements they can't really juggle around too well. I just think that they don't really know what their actual audience is. I think that's like the biggest problem with the show.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the 2003 show, that one wasn't, even though it's building off nostalgia from the 87 show, it didn't try to do, it wasn't bringing in those characters from that show or anything like that to make it more like that show or anything. It was more just trying to be its own thing and just, you know, be for that generation of people and all that. But this version of Turtles, and pretty much every other version of Turtles afterwards, it's just like, oh, well, remember that cool thing from the 80s? Here it is again. But this time, it's a different gender. Woo! Or something along that, or something like that.
Yeah, probably. Right. Who else have we got on our comments tonight? We have Magma Striker 1436. This episode was a masterpiece. I love pretty much everything about it. Fun fact, this Raza is my favourite variant of this character, along with the Oog or Odge, from the live-action TMT movie NR.2 and the IDW one. No joke, the way it got introduced in this series was just the chef's kiss. 10 out of 10, another absolutely lovely episode.
Yeah, I think we definitely disagree with that, but Raza was definitely cool.
Yeah, Raza was definitely cool, and I wouldn't say this is an exact masterpiece, Magma Striker. I didn't enjoy it, but I can't say it. Each to their own. So you do you, buddy. But yeah, I just want to quickly ask the TMT movie number 2. What's that all about?
Okay, so the first one we watched, that was the live action one with all the costumes and that Donatello thing where he opened the mouth and there was the head inside it. Do you remember that one?
Oh yes, that one. Yes, that particular one. Yes, I remember now. I remember that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's a sequel to that where they pretty much dumbed it all down and made them more child friendly. They got rid of the total weapons and they didn't use them whatsoever to actually fight. And in that movie, they wanted to be more like the cartoon, so they introduced some henchmen, Toko and Raza, and yeah, they called Shredder Mama, so...
Yeah.
Enough said?
Enough said. Moving on.
Yeah.
Trombone enthusiast. This episode to me was amazing, and I was bawling my eyes out and cackling my butt off. LOL.
I wish I could say the same. I mean, the only funny part about I laughed at was the beginning bit, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have too much to say. I'm sorry. Bunny got alive. While definitely a filler episode, it really developed much plot, such as Raza coming to be and Baxter working for Shredder. Also, we get to see that Mikey was secretly insecure because of the way his older brothers treat him. I also thought it was cute that the way that they went after him and tried to scold him during the fight. Overall, I actually enjoyed this episode. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta say that's a much more. I definitely agree with you, Bunny, with the filler episode type vibes. Like it was much of a filler episode, but also had some important key parts, which you stated as well, especially with Raza. And of course, that I think that this episode is, well, I think it's saved that the fact that Raza was introduced. But I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Teddy.
Yeah, I think for the most part it's a fair episode. I think that with Raza thing, it does make it somewhat of an important episode, but it's just a really hard episode overall to really judge. I just think that overall it's a bad episode, but Raza is definitely the key highlight for an episode that makes it.
Definitely. Our next comment is from, I do apologise if I butcher this, Andrew Wagner. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
Maybe.
I'm sorry if I butchered that. This particular episode is really where the flaw in the dynamics of the 2012, sorry about that, 2012 Brothers show. None of them seem even remotely worried that Mikey's about to explode. They care more about doing things the right way, or the fact that their day has been upended and the risk to Mikey's life. Mike's just a kid. He was curious and wanted to know what would happen, but when it causes a disastrous consequences. His brothers are totally content. Just sit there because it's your own fault, Mikey. I like the 2012 show, and I really enjoy the brothers most of the time. Brackets. I'm not on the hashtag they abuse Mikey train, but this episode is really weak as far as the characterization of everyone besides Mikey. Not to mention, Don already has a centrifuge from the time he made an antivenom to the parasitic wasp, so the entire quest was completely, utterly pointless anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Turtles overall abuse Mikey. I think it's just mainly Raph that just hits him far too much, but yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, I can't get into this. I've said all I had to on this episode. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep repeating myself over and over again.
Yeah, you're like me this episode. Like you're just gonna repeat yourself.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, I got to agree that it was. They abuse Mikey as such, but they don't worry about his life at all. Like they're not overly petrified or worried that he's going to potentially die. Like they always just he'll be fine, he'll just walk it off, you know. It's just one of those. And of course I gotta agree with you that they already have a centrifuge from the parasite wasp episode, and to be honest I don't really understand why they went on this quest to find it, but yeah, it's just one of those episodes, mate. So I don't really have much to say there. You've probably just summed it up in that paragraph right there. So thank you for that.
Any more comments?
Here we are, the last few comments now. Yep, the last few. We've got 3 more. At Sophia 0th405. This has to be one of my least favorite episodes, just because the visuals of the shellacne were really grossing me out, especially near the end. We do get to see Rob Polsny stretch his voice a little, so that was pretty cool, I guess.
Rob Polsny was one did Donatello, and it was cool to see him do deeper voice and all that. But yeah, I think the visuals for Mikey. Yeah, I don't get grossed out by that kind of stuff, so it didn't really bother me too much. Did it bother you?
Really, it was just acne at the end of the day, so everyone's seen it before, so it didn't really plague me as such.
Yeah. Any more?
Right, and the last 2, that's Addison Gonzalez, 7064. I loved it. Yeah. And the last one is at Mike Urles 1983. I'm so sorry if I've butchered that name wrong. He said, I hated this. I could barely see.
Yeah, he was.
That's a very vivid.
He's pretending to be Mikey. Yeah, he's moving on.
Moving on. Now we're gonna go on to the
Reddit.
Which comments are we going on to now?
Reddit.
We're going on to Reddit now.
Freelance Wolf. They put this episode is hilarious. It's written by the head writer of another show that is called equally hilarious. It was Thunderstrike. I don't know if have you seen that show before? I haven't.
What show was that?
Thunderstrike. I just don't think we're part of that
Thunderstrike.
generation who would have watched that kind of show, so...
Thunderstrike.
We're getting too
I
old for
don't
this.
know. Yep. Thunderstrike. I don't... Yeah.
Everything else Wolf also put... I love how the bros are always sincere when they apologise. After Ruff apologises to Mikey, he never made fun of him again for the duration of the episode. He has loads of good traits that people ignore. I mean, yeah, but he still hits Mikey way too much. So I don't think this one time ignores all the other times. Yeah. Quiet Duran 9319, they put, I actually really like the episode. It's disgusting, but it shows that Mikey makes mistakes, but he also is very good at fixing them. The episode highlighted that even though Mikey goes off, he's right most of the time when it comes to tactical decisions and enemy predictions. Now, the thing is that we've seen Mikey come up with plans before, and we know that they are not good, so yeah. And Mikey makes mistakes, he wastes far too many, and this one was not a good one. But just by him fixing them doesn't make it any better. He still made a mistake.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like Raph getting angry, and then like having controlling his temper. It doesn't excuse the fact that he has a temper. Oh, some people. Akra Harul 13. They put I like how it showcased the best defense against Michelangelo is himself, but utterly hated the squeaky aspect of it. But I did like the Raza a bit, scary but in a good way. Yeah. E3 now, they put, I didn't realise until I rewatched that Mikey had given himself shellacne by accident, trying to make himself a better team member, because he feels like nobody takes him seriously. I don't feel like this gets fully addressed at the end of the episode or by his brothers. Oh yeah, that's something which I'm quite surprised they didn't actually tackle, the fact that he's been feeling that way and none of them actually want to improve anything. They just go into the next episode and that's as if nothing's happened, but treat Mikey the exact same way, so again, episode more or less pointless. Because I do feel like 2012 has a problem treating Mikey like dead weight to the team when he can hold his own and then some. I did find parts of the episode really funny, and it's not all bad episode, just kind of gross. And yeah, I think people are definitely overlooking some major problems with this episode.
Yeah.
Issa, you're 89, they put, I'm always late to these things. So, yeah, I put, not today, and they reply back. I'll still give my 2 cents on the episode. The episode was almost filler till Bradford got double mutated and Baxter showed up. Yeah, I think, like, those are the only bits that you really need to know about this episode. Other than that, this one is pretty much skippable.
Yep.
Shuntekni, they put, I like many people, I like many people wish there was a bit more focus on Mikey's reasoning for using the mutagen in the first place. To be honest, I don't think there really was any much more reason he needed to give, other than he just felt as though that people didn't like him as much and wanted to be cool. I think that's a good enough reason. I feel like loads of people can relate to that. But plot has to plot, and this is a children's show at the end of the day. I don't think the episode feels stupid, just not risen to its full potential, but still one of my favourite simply because it's one of the few times conflict surrounding Mikey doesn't feel shoehorned in or resulted in him in his immaturity, lack of thinking things through. Okay, he just. The last bit he says that he doesn't like. He likes how this episode is not resulted in lack of Mikey's immaturity or lack of thinking things through. Mikey literally did that for the mistake.
I don't know anymore. I just don't know.
Now do you see why I somewhat dislike some 2012 fans, just because they do overlook quite a few things. And they just think that this show is perfect.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, like, even though I'm more of a fan of 2003, I can at least still point out all the bad things and say that it's not a perfect show, and there are things in 2012 that are better than 2003. I'm not like one of these people that just like thinks that one version is good and there's no problems with it. So, like, some of these people are clearly showing like that, even though it's maybe not one of the best episodes, it's still this version of Turtles, so it's perfect. So yeah. Bigly 1822, they put, is no one going to mention the kitchen scene at the beginning of the episode? That was hilarious. And yeah, I'm quite surprised no one actually mentioned that. This person was actually the first person to mention it, so yeah, I'm quite surprised by that.
Same.
Okay, so you want to hear some trivia?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so in the scene where Michelangelo first acne fantasy, where he imagines himself as a giant pimple in a video game, where Big Finger is trying to pop him. Background is background is the same sewer from the original TMT game on the NES, with this guy is quite interesting, with sound effects from the Donkey Kong game. Did you notice that?
Sorry, did you say Donkey Kong?
Yeah, I said Donkey Kong. That's
I did not pick up on that at all. That's pretty cool. Wait, what sounds? What sounds in particular? I want to know now.
I'm not too sure. I think okay, this is my actual surprise. I never actually played Donkey Kong. I've seen clips of it. I've seen clips of it, and that's as much as I really need to know about the game. But I don't really know.
You ever played Donkey Kong?
I play some classic games. But you know, Donkey Kong is one of those classic games where you've seen it, and that's pretty much all just you need, really. I probably could go online and probably find the game online, but I know how it is, and I know that after like a minute or two into the game, I'll probably get bored of it. So, yeah.
I don't know what to say to that.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on, shall we?
Okay, so Dog Pound says that he bets Baxter will turn into a fly, and this is actually a reference, just because in the original cartoon there was an episode where he was more or less like Schroeder and Krang got like really tired of him. They put him into a room to be killed, but yet a fly got in there, and somehow he got turned into a fly. So, yeah,
that's Turtles for you, I guess.
Yeah, it's so 80s. Okay, so like Shredder before him, in Nightmare, Splinter had it in the Planet of Sewers. Razzle plays homage to a Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger by scraping the walls with his claws. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that's actually a reference. I'll just say that's just something he did. I think it's just something people are looking into. I think you can more or less say anything anyone does is a reference to someone just because they've done something similar. So, yeah. On the Joe O'Donnell's retro musician at the Mr. Yuck stickers, which were stickers used in the 80s that parents would put on bleach, detergent, and other intangible substances to remind kids not to eat them. Yeah, Mucky didn't eat it, so that's something. This episode is the first time in 2012 TV show where mutant mutates for a second time. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about double mutant or double mutation?
To be honest, I didn't even know that was possible, double mutation. So that's interesting to know now.
Oh well, if you see the second Toe movie, one Token Raza, Shredder gets mutagen he turns into Super Shredder, like a really taller than the turtles, really big, and then he kills himself. So
What?
yeah, so that's a little fun thing in there.
I wasn't expecting him to. I wasn't expecting you to say he kills himself. Jeez.
Yeah, he was at this band where Vanilla Ice was playing, and he made a song called "Go Ninja Go Ninja Go," and afterwards he injected himself with Mystigen, turned into Super Shredder, and this was under the docks, so he just pushed all the support barriers. The pier came down on top of him, and he died, and that was the end of Shredder. So at least a Dog Pound has a much brighter future. Hopefully.
Yeah, okay, jeez. Wasn't expecting that.
Okay, so for the cast, they're all characters that we've all seen before, so unfortunately there's no people to go into this time. But we've got Baxterman played by Phil Lamar, Dog Pound / Razar played by Clancy Brown, Donatello voiced by Rob Paulson, Fishface voiced by Christian Lance, Leonardo voiced by Jason Biggs, Michelangelo voiced by Greg Sykes, Raphael voiced by Sean Astin, Karai voiced by Kelly Hu, Splinter voiced by Hoon Lee, and Mousers, they were in this episode. I thought Mousers are always very underused, and it's great to see them back for however long they were in this episode for.
Yes.
But yeah, do you have anything else to say about this episode, or are you just sort of done with this one? Because
I'm done, to be honest. I've said that I've said everything that I've needed to say, and
a whole lot
more. I don't have anything else. Yeah, so I'm done.
Okay, yeah. So for next week's episode, which is an interesting one, again with how they handle things. But next week's episode is called Target April O'Neil. So what do you think is going to happen in that episode?
I think April O'Neil's going to be a target for someone. I think it may be like the Shredder again, perhaps, or Karai. They're going to use April to get to the Turtles, I think, and potentially Casey might get involved. Casey might find out and try and rescue April, but that's just like a hunch. This is just like going off on a wild one here. I'm just throwing a wild card out and seeing what happens, really.
You're actually very close, actually. I mean...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Surprisingly, yeah. Well done.
Oh my god, you're serious?
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting you to get that, just because... I mean, I was sort of expecting you to go down the route of, oh yeah, the Krang are going to go after her, and stuff like that. I wasn't expecting you to go after... I wasn't thinking you'd go after, Karai and stuff like that, but... Yeah, well done.
Oh, wow. Yay! Woo! I finally got one. I told you I'd get that. I told you.
Yeah, and then the week after, I'm going to completely bomb it.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah, if you don't want to go onto the podcast, you can leave a comment on Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, and Anchor, either through text message or voice message. But, I've been your host, Teddy.
And I've been Hayden.
And we'll see you soon. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.